then username, then put self dot username is equal to, now understand this is what, a local variable, and I am assigning a text box to it. So text input, then self dot, again add widget, add second widget, that is label, assigning value to that label, use text is equal to, and then I will say its password. Okay, so now I have added what, 3 elements. First one is what, label, second is text input, and third one is what, add widget. Okay, so third one will automatically go below it. Understood? Third one goes below the first element, which will come under what, our username. Because since we have said what, columns is equal to 2, so it won't take it for the third component, it will go for the next line. Then we need to add one more text box for password. So self dot password, password is equal to, then use again text input. Now since it is a password, we need to set a value to it, that is password is equal to true, so it must be value, comma, and multi-line is equal to false. Okay, reason being, our password is always marked with stars or probably dots, so that's the reason why we have to set this value to true. Okay, and what else is that? Okay, one more widget named as password. Okay, fine. So I have one more widget, search dot add widget and self dot password. Okay, so now this widget is added. Okay, so all these widgets are now added. Let us create a class which is responsible to start it. So I'll say my app, inside it will pass app. Okay. Okay, so app is what? App is this, that is something called from here also. App is this part. Okay, so we have called it over here and we need to call it now. So use def and I'm saying build. Okay, build. Inside build you have to say return login screen. Okay, so this is called, and we'll directly execute without assigning an object. We'll directly run it. So let's say this what, my app, and then dot run. Okay, so this is a simple code that you have written just now. Let us execute it. Okay, what happened? Okay, you are not supposed to pass this over here. Okay, don't pass self, it is already understood for it. Okay, a lot of math. Okay, so this is something, some kind of input that you will see. Okay, so it's here. I can put anything here. Understood? Simple login screen. Username label over here. Text box. Another label. And then password. Okay. Simple. Okay. How many of you did not understand this or want me to repeat? 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay, that's simply fine. Not to worry. Okay, we'll write a real simple code. Okay, let us import TV entirely. Okay, no nothing, taking individually nothing. Just import TV. That's all. And we'll need to import only 2 more elements. So from TV dot TV dot app import app. Okay, this is required, has to be mandatory. And from TV dot UIX dot label will import label. Okay, so there are 2 ways of writing. This is just one way. The one which I showed you for login screen is again the same way. I'll show you the another way as well. Okay, you decide which one is easy for you. Okay, this one is the same way that you did for login screen. No different way I have just introduced to you. Okay, now I'll return, let's say, my app. I'll pass app over here. Okay, then def build. Now this is necessary because it indefinitely build all these UI interfaces for you. So build is an inbuilt method you have to use. Okay, def build, and I'll say return label. Okay, label with value. Text is equal to I hope this will be easy for you this time. Okay, my app. So station. Okay, it is running on my screen. I'll just push it to your screen. Simple. Okay, no layout, nothing. I didn't choose any layout. I'm just putting it on the screen directly. Okay. Is this part understood now? I hope this was easy for you now. Yes? Okay. Now understand, whenever you just put out anything onto TV, this simply put on canvas. Okay. Canvas is something, an empty drawing. Assume you have a drawing sheet which is empty, and you just pick up one color and you drop it. Understood? That is nothing but you did right now. Hello world is something same. Okay, you don't choose any kind of layout, you just put one label and named it as hello world. I hope this was easy for you to understand. Yes? Okay. Now shall we go for the next type? Is this type easy for you to understand now? Or should I repeat the login part, login screen part? Login screen part. Okay, so in here, of course, grid layout. Now, whenever you put a layout, you have a good opportunity to place your elements in a proper way. Have the opportunity to place the elements in a proper way. That's the reason why we take a layout. Okay, the way you draw that boundaries before starting your drawing. Do you remember you used to draw boundaries using sketch pen or probably black color? Yes, so that your picture looks good, isn't it? This is the same way. Layout is nothing but creating boundaries of how and what you will put in that area. Understood? Yes? Okay. So grid layout is taken. Grid layout I have already showed how grid layout looks like. Then I have taken what? Label and text input, because these are the two types of elements that I needed in my canvas. Okay. Okay, that is also done. Now I have created what? Login screen where I have passed grid layout. Okay, this is the layout which I want. Okay, which I have already imported. Okay, I have chosen it. Then we have created this part. Now let us leave this part for the moment, because this is again complexity increase. Understand? Self.cause is equal to 2. Self.cause is equal to 2 is nothing but what? Defining columns in that grid. Okay, so 2 columns. Clear? Okay. Then you start adding the elements using self.add widget. Okay, so widget is nothing but one specific element. One specific element. Okay, so I put one element which is what? And then text is equal to username. Now text is the property of label. Understand? Okay, whenever you need to set the value to that label, it is using text criteria. So whenever you say text is equal to username, it will be renamed over there. Okay, done. Thereafter, okay, and which is username done. Now self.username is equal to what? Text input. You said text input. Okay, we forgot to add this part too. Oh, self emotic. Okay, so what I did was I said username and I said this would be what? Text input. Okay, this would be what? Text input. Then self.add widget. Okay, self.password. Now this is simply put inside it. What? Okay, wait, did I copy that same thing? Okay, I was supposed to pass what username. I'll just put carriage written so that you understand. Okay, so for username, I have said what? Text input. You understand this label? Yes, everyone? Okay. Next would be what? Username, I have said what? Text input. After that, set self.add widget. I have to add this, right? I have set this. I have set username as text input, so I have to add into widget. So I have to add widget and then self.username. Okay, understood this part? Okay, next is what? Username. The way, sorry, password. The way we use for username, same is what for password. Okay. Okay, set password. Then self.password text input. Now I have to use some properties of text input, which is what? Password is equal to true, which will what? Mask my password instead of adding it plain text. And then multiline is equal to false, because your passwords cannot be in paragraph. It cannot be in multiline. So that's why it is set to false. Okay. Then self.add widget, self.password. The one which we created an element here needs to be added into widget. Understood this part? Yes? Okay. Next. So as I told you, app is the responsible to execute or develop your UI. So hence we have taken it into a different class, and build is the method which helps you to execute it. Okay, build method is necessary. You have to use build method only. So use build method and then what? Return login screen. And I have called this class over here and I have asked it to run. That's it. Okay. Then this action. Okay, here it is. I forgot to use parenthesis. That's the reason. Okay, can you see there is a parenthesis over here? Okay, so I forgot to put this. That's the reason why I had an error. Okay, understood this part? Yes? Okay, now should I introduce the second method? Okay, which I personally feel which is simple to understand. Okay, we'll create a fresh fill. I have my example ready. Okay, this is again a login screen, but in a different way. Okay, so in here I have just taken what? Three things, which is first one is box layout. Okay, a box layout. After that, a line builder. Line builder. Okay, do you want me to go line by line? Should I write the code and then I make you understand? Yes? Okay, so should I clear this off? Okay. So okay, I'll go line by line from cv dot uix dot box layout. Import box layout. Okay, do you understand what is a box now? Yes, simple box I have taken, box layout. Okay, then from cv dot lang. Okay. So I want lang. From that, I'll import builder. Okay, now understand what is a builder. Okay, now Kiwi has its own language. Kiwi has its own language. Now don't worry if there is nothing complicated in that language. In fact, it will make some things very much easy for you to understand. Okay, you don't have to worry about taking each and every element from using import statement. Okay, first we'll import the app as well. So from TV app import app. Okay, now here we are using builder dot load underscore string and then use parentheses. Now this is the point. This is the point where you have to write the Kiwi language. You have to write Kiwi language. So I'll introduce three inverted commas or single or double, doesn't matter. Okay, because using this you will be able to continue that in different times. So I'm saying a simple name as, let's say, box app. Okay, application that is made inside box, I'm renaming it as box app. And then I put colon, it asks me that you have opened a block. And same as goes in Python, when you open a block, you give what? When you open a block, you have to use indentation. For what? Then lost? Everyone present here?
Yes.
No, not physically, mentally. Okay, good. So use indentation over there. Then, now when you give names, there are just two types of names. Okay, first I'll just write the name as uname underscore txt, and then I'll put a colon and I'll say user. Now understand, there is something called as username text box. Okay, uname underscore text is the name I have given, and then I said colon, and then I have given different name, that is user. Now the name on the left of colon can be used inside Python programming language, and the name after colon is used inside Kiwi language or .kiwi language. Okay, for Python you use what? .py For kiwi it is .kiwi, but we do not use different kiwi because we are writing inside the same Python script. Okay, understood? So here we have what? Two different types of name. Left name is for what? Left name is for Python. Right name is for. Understood this part? Okay. Now. Okay. After that, I use password. So I use keyword underscore txt colon PASSW. Okay. Then I'll say submit. And there's a button, so I'll use VT over here and I'll say submit. So this name I will be using is a queue. Then I'll use the status underscore tx, which is again a text box, and then I'll use status. Okay, understood? Now, since we are taking a layout, understand, we are taking a layout, so we need to define an orientation. Now, box layout is what? A simple box, it won't understand left or right. Okay, so it is either horizontal or vertical. You have to define the type of orientation. So, orientation colon, and it has to be written inside single inverted commas. So, write vertical. Okay. Now, orientation vertical, as in if I put another layout, it will be added after box layout. If I put one more layout, it will be added after that part. Okay, so orientation. Okay, we haven't started with box layout yet as of yet. Okay, we have taken box layout, but we haven't started with it. So now let's start with box layout. So box layout colon. Since I have opened what? One more block, so I'll use what? Indentation. So orientation again inside this, and I'll use, let's say, horizontal. Now after this, I'll use a label. Since I've opened a block, again a tab, and I'll say text as username. Then one more label. No, we'll be using a text box, right? So let's use text input, put a colon, and then what? ID colon user. Okay. So until now we just saw what text could do, right? Text sets the value immediately, but in here we use ID parameter. ID parameter is indefinitely going to point here. Okay, so it will say, okay, this is what you name text. Okay, this is used inside this, and we have used user over here. Okay, understood this part? Yes. Okay. Then another label. Okay, label. Then you have to text colon. Now understand, every time when there is a string value, you have to use double or single inverted commas. Okay, label, and then we can use again text input. Okay, and here you have to use what? ID, and then what? What is our ID for password? It's what? PASSW. Okay, let's use PASSW. Yeah. Okay, so we are done with this as well. We need to take a button, right? So let's take a button. Simply write button. Then we have already taken button that his name was submit, right? Submit. And then we give that name to button, right? We give names to buttons. So we use what? Text parameter. And then we use submit. Okay. So this is done. And then we'll use one more label as status. So we have already taken status, so use ID of it, and we are done here. Okay. This is written entirely in what? Kiwi language. Understood to this point? Any doubts? Anything you don't understand in Kiwi language? I know this is new, but did you understand the way we went step by step? Yes? Understood? Okay. What? Username का? Oh, sorry. Okay. Text. Done. Okay. So now let's create the main class. Okay, the class which will be executing it. So class, then write what? Main app. And inside what? I'll pass app. Okay. Inside which I'll again use what? Tab. Build. And then return. Now what to return? Since we haven't created anything that will contain box layout, okay, we need something that has created box layout. To do that, we'll first create class which will hold our box app. Okay. Then we have box layout. Okay, now understand the name of this class and the name of this class inside Kiwi app has to be same. Okay, box app and box app, same. Understood? Clear? Okay. Now inside this, we'll have one simple function, def, and constructor needs to be called here, and okay. Also here we have mentioned the previous part, that is keyword arguments. We can do here this. And then use again same part, that is super and box app, etc. Inside this will part of again KW AR space. Okay, keyword argument set. Okay, I guess this is done then. Let's use main app. Main app and then all what? Run. Okay. Let's try to run this. The window is straight. Okay, we haven't written box app, right? That's the reason. So use written what? Box app. Okay. Let us run this again. Okay, so it is your. Okay, can you see this? Yes, so this is your first word, label, username, then you have text box, password, again you have password text box, submit button, and then we have what? A status box. We haven't named it, so it is blank over here. Okay, since we haven't added any functionality or let's say any of the interaction part, this is still a dry run. Okay, let us give some values so that it becomes interactive. Okay. To do that, first we'll change the orientation. Change it to horizontal. Okay, let us run it. just a minute.